I support the new trails resolution, but not the November version.
Is that because you are against trails?
Oh no. I love trails. Horse riding trails are the best.
Then what was wrong with the November resolution?
It missed the point of the Rails to Trails Act, and it was a power grab.
Is not the Trails to Rails Act a way to convert rails to trails?
No.
What?
No. In fact, preserving the rails is one of the primary dictates of the Act.
Are you sure? Where did you hear that?
What we call Rails to Trails Act, aka the 1983 Amendment to the National Trails System Act, is actually U.S. Code Title 16 Chapter 27 Paragraph 1247. And the main action is set out in Section D.
And?
The Act reads, in furtherance of the national policy to preserve established railroad rights-of-way for future reactivation of rail service. And also, use shall not be treated, for purposes of any law or rule of law, as an abandonment of the use of such rights-of-way for railroad purposes.
I read that starting in the 1970s, our nation's rail corridor system was at risk of becoming irreparably fragmented. Like the difficulty of putting Humpty Dumpty together again, it would be virtually impossible to recreate our national rail corridor system after it was broken into hundreds of parcels of land due to the difficulties and costs. This led to the Rails to Trails Act.
Right on. Rail trails are subject to a unique, and occasionally complex, mix of federal and state law. Many rail conversions are railbank under Section 8D of the National Trails Systems Act, often called the Rail Banking Act or the Rails to Trails Act. This important federal law, enacted by Congress in 1983 to preserve established railroad corridors for interim trail and future rail use, preempts state or local laws that are inconsistent with these goals.
If the goal is to preserve the rails, then why is it called Rails to Trails?
Because on both sides of the rails are easements between 60 and 120 feet wide. As well as preserving the rails for future reactivation, these easements are a great place to establish a large interconnected trail system.
Okay, then it is not trails instead of rails. But it is trails added to rails.
That is right. It is a win-win deal. Preserving the rails wins, and expanding the trails system wins.
What was wrong with the old resolution?
It tried to eliminate the priority for rails.
But I thought it was to preserve the rails.
That is right.
How did they fix the resolution?
It is a balanced compromise that clearly states that, first, we want a great trail system. Secondly, that we are complying with the letter and intent of the Act to preserve the rails for future use.
I am glad that our lawmakers only make laws that comply with the law.
You're pretty smart. Would you like to go on a hike?
Yes. But I would rather mountain bike. Are you game?
You bet. Let's hit the trail.